Former President Donald Trump is back on the campaign trail following his arraignment on Thursday. He, of course, pleaded not guilty to 4 federal charges related to efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Here now to go over this week's top political stories. Chief Communications Officer for Move On and CBS News political contributor Joel Payne and CBS News political analyst Leslie Sanchez. Great to see both of you. The former president is continuing to tout his fundraising success post-indictment. Leslie, as our Republican strategist here, you're going to get all the most of the Trump questions here, whether you like it or not. But why does financial support bolster? What does it do to bolster him at this time when these legal issues are being raised? I got to imagine it helps pay the legal bills. But we'll have to wait, I suppose, to see whether any of it's actually going to the campaign he still needs to run.
Well, overwhelmingly, this money is going to pay those legal bills. If you just look at the FEC filings, there's 2 parts that are correct to that story, right? There is a boom when the president is indicted. You saw it in April. You expect to see it again today. And these are predominantly small online grassroots voters who are donating to the campaign. They want to support the president, and what they feel is just an unfair, weaponized criminal justice system that is basically led by his political opponent. That is the argument. That is those are the emails that are going out to donors. But you do have, on the other side of that, big donors, bundlers, those billionaires who write those big checks who are looking for alternatives to Trump. So it's a double-edged sword in terms of how effective it's going to be for a campaign operation. But one cannot discount how much momentum, I would say, there is right now behind the former president. These indictments have done nothing but embolden the campaign and certainly the zealous state of the voters.
Well, Joel, so I want to ask you, we had like a recent poll that suggested that the majority of Republicans even now think that Biden's win was illegitimate in the last election. And certainly, as we've been talking, this has helped Donald Trump raise money. But ultimately, do you think these indictments will hurt or help Democrats?
Yeah, Anne-Marie, I actually think I've been thinking recently about these polling numbers that have been really trending in Donald Trump's favor within the Republican Party lately. And to me, it feels like that type of a poll question now is a ballot test. It's essentially like, are you Republican enough? Like if you're a Republican primary voter, particularly, and you're asked that question, that's really a kind of a loyalty test to your party and to Donald Trump, who has created this super loyal, dark red Republican base that is rock ribbed and that does not stray from him at any point. So it's really a ballot test. I'm not sure if that conveys over to the general election, and folks like my friend Leslie probably have to worry about that if Donald Trump is the eventual Republican nominee. I do think it's some of the other public polling that we're seeing kind of in some of the early states and some of the national polling that we're seeing come out. We are starting to see a clearer picture of who that second tier of Republicans are, the Tim Scotts of the world. Ron DeSantis still showing some stubborn support, and someone like a Vivek Ramaswamy who is stepping up. And I think it's interesting to look at why are those folks starting to move vis-a-vis what's happening with Trump.
Leslie, in the lead up to the indictment yesterday, our Lana Zak had a conversation with Florida Congressman Byron Donalds, who's a big supporter of the former presidency, and he spoke out against the indictment. Take a look at part of what he had to say.
Americans writ large, they know unfairness when they see it. And what you are seeing is a weaponization of the Department of Justice against the leading Republican.
He says Americans writ large know unfairness when they see it. It does seem, though, Leslie, and you do a lot of polling, that Republicans, at least writ large, believe that there is a big unfairness factor here, and a growing belief that perhaps this wouldn't be happening to him were Donald Trump not running for office again. Is that something now that, like the loyalty test, is just so baked into the thoughts of Republicans?
Ed, the interesting part of this, when you're looking at the effect it's having on voters who are really not paying attention, you've got your primary voters, but everybody's questioning, where does it go in a general election? This issue of fairness is profound. This undercurrent of, is this fundamentally fair? So you've got a candidate, 2 impeachments, 3 indictments, more coming. Even somebody who doesn't look at, read the headlines every day says something fundamentally looks wrong. It seems highly politicized. What is it about this particular candidate, even if you don't like Trump, that has this fervor behind it? And all of these indictments, people would argue it's his actions, it's what he's done. But there is something there about this unfairness. And I would also say there's something, these invisible voters, we call them invisible voters. They're voters that kind of come when they feel that the country is in peril. You don't see them. That's when you see these big turnout numbers. And I would argue that that's what's going to happen. You will see potentially this momentum of voters who aren't necessarily very political, who feel they have to step in because something does not seem right, and the system is fundamentally broken. It's hard to say which way they'll vote, but that's where you're getting this kind of sympathy approach to what is happening to the former president.
Listen, before we let you go, I got to ask you guys about something not directly Trump related. California Governor Gavin Newsom agreed to debate Governor Ron DeSantis on Fox News. Joel, what is going on? Maybe you guys are all political types. I didn't hear any rumblings of this. I didn't even know if they were verbally sparring back and forth. Was there a Twitter or an X war or something? Where did this come from?
Oh, I have no idea. But here's what I would say. You have 2 folks who have very divergent needs right now. Gavin Newsom wants to elevate himself for whatever the post-Biden Democratic coalition, Democratic Party looks like. This is a good way to do that. If you're Ron DeSantis, I guess the question I have is, you don't want to demote yourself. You're a presidential contender. Why would you debate somebody who is not on the presidential stage right now? It kind of adds to the dynamic that's going to be created in that August debate that it's expected Donald Trump is going to skip. It's going to look like the B team debate to a lot of folks. Ron DeSantis is looking like he's having kind of a B team debate with somebody who is not the presidential contender on the other side. So I question the motivations there. But for Gavin Newsom, listen, more eyeballs, more folks understanding his name and understanding how he can pull together an argument on behalf of Democrats, I think is positive for him.
One wonders if he might have said, yeah, I'll debate you in 2028 when I'm running for re-election and you're the Democratic nominee. But what does it say about our politics that they'd much rather spend an hour together on Fox News just for the potential fundraising and attention bounce than anything else?
Yeah, true. Joel Payne and Leslie Sanchez, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.